Are you watching this season of The Purge, the 10-episode event airing on USA? If you're not, you really should be because it's pretty awesome. We're going to be talking about the 3rd episode tonight. Enjoy. Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Enjoy the video. So today we're going to be talking about the 3rd episode of The Purge, this new original 10-episode event that they're airing on USA. And I've been covering this every week. My intention is to cover this every single week until we get to the very finale of this show. I have been kind of in love with the Purge franchise ever since it debuted in 2013. And as I said over the last couple weeks, and it became very clear in this episode, this show, this franchise, this story really deserves a long-form narrative. You cannot do all of this stuff justice in 90 minutes or whatever the movie links are. And that's one of the reasons I am very enthralled and very excited to tune in every single Tuesday just to watch this show. With that being said, let's talk about some of the elements of the show, stuff that works, stuff that doesn't work, and just where I think this is going. I think that Miguel's character, first of all, Miguel and Penelope being part of the OMF, I wanted to make that sure I got that right, the original martyr families from Staten Island in the original first Purge movie, which was the prequel to the first 3 films that they released this past summer. That was a really awesome context for these characters to connect the series and to give us some inference of how much time has passed. They did that in the very first commercial break. Maybe I've been missing this, maybe I'm not, but I know in the first commercial break they gave us some context as to where all these things place and a little bit more of the timeline of the series. So we know that the OMF, the original martyr family, were the people from Staten Island from the first Purge, right? And then at the same time, they gave us the idea that this Purge night is taking place in between the first film and the second film. So it's taking place directly against those 2 films, which I guess it's the first Purge, this series, and then the next Purge, and that's the last 3 years before election year. Who knows? But I mean, it's always been a little wishy-washy, especially with the first Purge. And some of the Easter eggs that they put in that movie, hint, hint, in the first Purge, they put the poster, or at least the teaser poster for Halloween 2018, which kind of dates the movie, but also makes it a little bit crazy because the idea is like that was supposed to happen in like 2017 or 2018 or something, so it works, but it doesn't work really well. You can look that up in various other news sites if you're interested to hear more about that. But anyway, I do like the idea that Miguel and Penelope are part of that original family and we're part of that original situation. The one thing I really don't like about that is when we got the flashbacks of what happened during that night, it didn't really match up with what they gave us in the movie. The movie made it very clear, just as a story element and also a way to create like a creepy factor for that situation for everybody, with these contacts that actually had a glow to them as the government was watching what they were doing and able to record everything that those people saw. Their parents didn't have any of that. And the only reason they would have actually stayed on that island, as they made very clear in the episode, was to get the money that they were being offered. So either they didn't have those contacts on, or that was an inconsistency from the plot from the 4th film. Who really cares at this point? Doesn't really matter. I mean, we could just kind of take it at face value. But with that being said, Miguel and Penelope's story throughout this episode, I like the fact that they toned it down a little bit. I was really worried last week that Miguel was going to play this card that James DeMonico really likes to do, where he wants to explore so many facets and elements of the Purge night that he kind of makes it too ridiculous, too quick, and too cartoonish for its own good. We saw that with the Gauntlet, and it really kind of made me mad that it was such an interesting concept that was kind of brushed under the rug and then kind of forgotten about immediately. But that actually played into this episode with him getting the car at the end of the Gauntlet and was able to get the officer to make a deal with him for that car. Obviously, he did kind of come face to face with his sister a little bit with the whole nun situation, taking her hostage and letting her go to whatever situation opens up next week. It looks like there's going to be a betting situation and something, and I still think that that's what the overarching story of Miguel and Penelope will be. He's going to chase her down all season, and then you're going to use both of them to introduce all of these interesting, cool concepts throughout the entire Purge night and use everyone else to tell legitimate stories. I guess that's okay, but I'm not really looking forward to how they're going to play that up throughout the next 7 episodes. Moving on, though, Jane's character is still the least interesting thing about this story. As I said before, I love the whole Uber kill cheating chart thing, app, whatever they're going to call it during the end of this show. I don't know. The whole concept of Jane seeking someone to kill her boss, and that's the thing that drives this entire show, or at least her part of the show. It's really interesting. It does look like next week she's going to leave the office building after everything that happened this week. And why wouldn't you? I mean, that's kind of frightening, and you want to make sure that your boss dies because it doesn't seem like that's actually going to happen at this point. I mean, heck, they made it kind of seem like this person that she hired is actually dead after all the misery and mayhem she puts herself through. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that it wouldn't be anything like that. At the same time, we got Rick and Jenna's character. We also got Lila and the NFFA party. I like what they're doing here. It's been consistently the most entertaining thing about this show. I have to say, I believe I said this last week, but I'm going to call it now. I did call it from the very first week. Jenna is pregnant. I mean, that was pretty obvious with the fact that she was not drinking liquor and she was getting sick and she was acting very weird throughout the first couple episodes. But it has been absolutely confirmed at this point, and I cannot help but think throughout the entirety of the next couple episodes or however long she's in this, she is going to turn on everyone. Whether she gets out alive or dead, I would really like a team up between her and Lila. Rick decides to be someone that she doesn't really believe that she married. Someone who wants to join the NFFA and wants to kill people during Purge night. You know, this isn't who I married. This guy is kind of a monster, so I'm going to turn against him. Her and Lila, 2 lovers on the go, actually team up and take out everyone in that party. That's what I would like to see. I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but it will be really interesting. Last 2 notes, though, I would really like for all these characters to figure out a chance to get to each other. I don't know how that's going to happen. Like, if they could figure out a way to get all these stories merged like they do in the movies and all this other stuff, that would be great. I imagine that's what they're going to be going towards, but who knows at this point. In fact, it feels a little too disconnected, even though we get to see various glimpses of how they're connected throughout the first 3 episodes. Another thing, and not really something I wanted to jump on last week, I wanted to take my time because they were making it seem like it was way worse than it actually was. This guy, this vigilante going around and trying to kill people, or at least that's what it looked like in the 2nd episode of this season. Obviously, at this point, it looks like he is going to be helping people for one reason or another. We don't know if he's connected to the resistance. We don't know if he's going to do this for his own sick pleasure. I don't know. But if I had to guess, because they brought it up in this episode, he's connected to the resistance from the Purge Anarchy. That's how we're going to connect the first movie, the 4th movie that came out earlier this summer, and then also the 2nd movie. I mean, this guy's going to be connected to that. I wouldn't even be shocked. In fact, it would be kind of cool if they brought back some of the people from the 2nd movie, right? Because it does take place in between that, or maybe some of the people from the first movie. I don't know if they're going to do that. It probably won't. But have us understand where this takes place and what these people are trying to do. That would be really interesting. The guy going around and murdering people, or at least standing up for people who are in trouble, whatever it is that he ends up doing, is definitely an interesting story element, but they're not focusing on it nearly enough, in my opinion. You know, at the beginning or end of each episode or something, hopefully we get more explanation as to what's going on there. But it seems, at least to me, from what we've seen thus far, is going to be too similar to what we're seeing with Miguel. Yes, Miguel has an idea of what he wants to do. He's going from place to place trying to find his sister, and this guy's kind of floating in the wind, this new one, but it seems a little too similar. Unless you keep it contained, you have an idea of why he's doing what he's doing, and we start focusing on that within the next episode or 2. Until then, to me, it feels like, oh, these 2 storylines can really butt up against each other and be telling the exact same thing. So, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Do you like the Purge television show thus far? As I said on Twitter, if you follow me on there, I really think it's Hannah Emily Anderson's audition tape for being the lead in the new Jigsaw movies going in the future, because as I said, I think that she's going to do some kind of a heel turn and actually ends up shotgunning her way out of this party at some point, and I can't wait for that. I probably won't happen, but I'm really excited to see if it actually will. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you're enjoying this show just as much as I am, because it feels like just watching one of these movies, but actually getting a chance to explore these characters. That's one of the best things about it. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. It's been real.